Looks like these boys have total chaos going on here. This guy ain't got no shirt on. He thinks he's in Florida.
Well, no, I told him to take his good shirt off. He takes his good shirt off, doesn't have a shirt on. For his sweater.
So you're putting the nose on now. They got the sides on. Let's check out Lester's interior pipe notching. Hey, done pretty good. We'll give him a grade. They're on it. Dad, just to let you know, Lester bought some springs at the auction. He's making you proud. There's a new car. Guys, Lester's bending. They're on it. Up here at the shop today, going over Jonathan's modified, getting ready to tear it apart, see what all we need to do to it. There's quite a few things we find wrong with it already. Of course, one being the front clip was knocked over. We'll get that straightened out. I will show you here what all that I found just as far as taking the wheels off and some of the stuff he knew about, some of it he probably doesn't know about. So I'll have to get a hold of him and see what all he wants to work on, all he wants to do to it, and how far he wants to take it. Okay, as I was saying before, of course the front clip's knocked over, so we'll have to get that fixed back up. Frame's ripped there a little bit. It's puckered up here. You can see it. Frame's pushed up here, so we'll get that repaired on the frame. I should go through the frame stuff first here. What we got. Got the right side out bars bent in. We'll cut that out and get it changed. He said this car's a little bit on the heavy side, so what we'll do is probably try to take some of the stuff out that's not needed in this race car. We'll decide on this X. It's got an X in the right side, which we hardly ever run. We usually run a straight bar. I'll talk to him about that. Swing arm mount. Not big on swing arms, so we'll see if he wants to keep that or take it out. We'll get him a new deck lid bar put on. It's got two mounts for the rear bumper. We'll probably take the top one off, get rid of it. Come over here, the left rear. We got cracked frame rail, so we'll try to get that cleaned up. We'll probably put a gusset in here like the late model cars do. For some reason, all the round tube cars crack at the Panhard bar mount, whether it's a Masters build, a Rocket, my cars, we end up having to put a gusset in there. So that's a common thing. I don't know if it's from the Panhard bar pressure or it's from the actual just the frame flex. So we'll get that fixed. Figure out what we want to do with this door bar. He's had to cut it off for the header. Whether we just take this whole thing out. He's got bars on the inside. It's got a full X, so this is something basically that's not needed. So you can see there's a full X on the inside right there. Really no need to have all that. I mean, having a full X inside the cockpit's probably the safest thing you need. As far as the framework, that's probably what all we got to do as far as the actual frame. Okay, on some of the suspension, some of the things we're seeing is when you do the roll center or look at the roll center on this car, the roll center is too high, which probably make the car super tight, not turn. So what we'll do is we'll go to, can't really much go lower in here because of the way these frames are. We'll go to probably a 1-inch taller ball joint, which will get the roll center down. Bring this up, put more angle, which will also help our camber gain on both right front and left front. So we'll do that. We'll figure out these spindles. There's a new deal or a deal out that where you're not just running a long bolt that goes back and actually bolts in with the ball joint. As you can see over here, the left front's bent because you have to be so far probably to get his bump right that it's bending the bolts. So we'll have to order the brackets for that. Same thing over here, taller ball joint, which when this thing rolls over to make out that left front camber out with the racetrack. We'll have to check our dry shaft clearance, make sure it's where it needs to be for when the rear end's fully extended. I don't know if you can tell, but the right rear axle tube, he got in a wreck this last race, so the right rear axle tube's bent back, so we'll tear it apart. Probably the axle's bent also, as bad as that thing's bent, so we'll have to get axle and an axle tube for it. One of the big things I want to show here, Jonathan's been complaining about this car not turning. Just kind of going over it, we found out some things that will make this thing not turn. One being the front end roll center. As you can see here, he's got his right front brake line cap to run 3-wheel brake. You know, that to me is a crutch, and I mean, people do it to get by. You should be able to run 4-wheel brake, make your car turn with your brakes or your setup. 3-wheel brake tends to get you in trouble a lot of times. One of the things we found, if I can zoom in here and see, this is the right rear brake. The outside pad's gone, and the inside pad, trying to get it here, find it where I'm at, right there. The inside pad is brand new, so that tells me that his right rear brake's not working. It's not squeezing the rotor. That tells me that what's happening is when he pushes the brakes, this thing's just only working on the outside pad. So we got something going on there with the brake pad, or both brake pads should be wore pretty much the same if we're grabbing the rotor under braking. Both pads should be wore the same. So we've probably not got the rear brakes that he thinks he's got in the race car due to the caliper not working. See on the left rear here, they're both about the same. You know, so if he's got 80% rear brake, he thinks, I mean, he might have 60% because the right rear brake's not working. That's solid axle tube, so as long as you got a brake, you've got rear brakes, but not as much as what he thinks he's got. So we'll have to go through that caliper, actually probably go through all of them, and make sure they're working correctly. Go up here and look at the right front. Right front looks, or left front, sorry. Left front looks like it's pretty good. Now we'll go to the right front. Of course, he's got it unhooked, as you can see. It's just floating around. So we got to figure out how to get it back on 4-wheel brake to make this thing handle the way it's supposed to. So we'll go through the whole brake system. We'll go in here and kind of look at his brake pedal. Sometimes on these cars, on these inside pedal mounts, you get Put the light in here. This bolt right here, when he pushes that brake, that's got to be a rounded head bolt so this brake adjuster doesn't hook on that head of that bolt. If that hooks on the head of that bolt, it'll put all front brake in the car and it'll make it go into a push. You can kind of see on that bolt where it's actually rubbed a little bit. Ain't saying that's happening every time, but you know, sometimes you dive down the corner and it pushes, and the next time you dive down in the corner and it doesn't push. You know, that could be one of the problems there. So that's where we're at on Jonathan's Modified. We'll get started on it this week. I know we're heading to Florida to go down and visit the kids this week, so we'll be leaving Wednesday for there. So we'll try to get a little bit video. I think we're going to go to Volusia. We're going to go to Volusia, and then we'll go to Volusia and try to maybe record some of the late models, see what the kids are doing, and we'll go from there. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, tell us what you think.